Hi, I'm Katie Hare. I am from Gold Coast, Australia, and I am the founding president of the Rotary Health and Wellness Club. For my work life, I'm actually a personal development coach and mentor, and I work in workplace wellbeing. So with the burnout epidemic, what I'm noticing myself is the effects that it's having on women in particular is what they are actually doing for themselves. So what I mean by that is women want to be everything to everybody. So amazing mothers, amazing partners, the best workers ever. They want to run the best business that they can. And so therefore they're putting themselves last. So what I'm noticing is the end of the day, we're going to bed later, we're getting up earlier, we're really not fitting in things that are going to be helping our own mental wellness, our personal mental clarity for one. Diets are lacking, we're rushing, so much rushing, and everyone is just really putting themselves last. So what I'm seeing here is women are they're ignoring the small signs. So first of all, they're getting a little pebble dropped. Maybe they're, not coping with things as well, or maybe they're struggling with something small. And the biggest thing is no one's asking for help, or they don't feel safe to ask for help. So for me, the first step in noticing this, even as small as, just I've been tired for a few weeks, or I'm not sleeping properly, I'm getting brain fog, any of those small things, start talking about that amongst ourselves. The more we talk about it, the more people are going to help each other. So the reason why I went into the line of work that I did is I was working in corporate industry, and I personally went through the effects of a complete burnout. And I didn't recognize the signs like most women. I kept going, and I wanted to make sure that my kids had everything that they needed. They were where they wanted to be, that my husband had everything he needed. And I was really putting myself last. And it did take me a long time to ask for help. I was in a situation where I worked was actually quite a emotionally unsafe place. We had a lot of abusive customers. It wasn't a very nice place to work, but I was the leader in that place. And so I protected my staff. So I almost pictured myself like a shield, like most women. We want to protect all those people around us, being our, friends, family, co-workers, whoever, because that's our nurturing state. And I was really putting myself last. It led to a lot of chronic illness. So I would get a throat infection or a chest infection, and it would be one thing after the other. And because I didn't listen to the signs to rest my body, I actually got quite unwell. So it took me quite some time to come back from that. And that is why I'm so passionate in helping other women to stop this happening to themselves, because the support really comes from it becoming a culturally accepted position for us to be able to say, hey, I need some help. So what people don't actually understand burnout is people talk about stress. So stress is one thing, but stress is quite normal, and we can live in stress from time to time. Where burnout comes in is where we have that chronic repeated stress where our body is in fight or flight, whether it's from a real problem or an imagined or a thought up problem that's happening. Maybe you're thinking, you're in an unsafe workplace. Maybe you don't feel safe enough to speak up. If you have that chronic repeated stress over and over again, it's damaging your nervous system. It's damaging your entire body. And what people don't realize is that it takes some time to come back from that. By addressing it within ourselves, we're obviously going to create a better life that we want to live. We're going to be better parents, better workers, better partners, and better just ourselves. I feel that by addressing it as a community, we're creating a stronger community. And who hasn't recognized that we need that more than ever right now? Talking about what's happening with ourselves, giving others permission to share, that's where we connect. And that's where communities are going to grow stronger, and we're going to have better support networks. We're going to be able to get through anything when we ask for the people around us who care. And they're going to, if we have that community around us, they're really going to notice if you're slipping. You're going to have more eyes on you who care. We're going to just have each other's back. There's so many different things that people would feel comfortable with. Obviously, asking for help was one of the first things, but if you don't feel comfortable in that, or you're just noticing that you're not sleeping well, I would try a few different things. So meditation is something that is the most calming thing for your whole nervous system. People talk a lot about the vagus nerve now. I think you probably hear people talking about that. Breath work calms that. So that nerve actually is the conduit from our brain to our gut, our second brain. It's really important to get that calm. Notice what you're eating. What are you putting in your body? If you're suddenly going for lots of sugary things, if you're looking for a coffee fix continuously during the day, they're warning signs to your body to say, hey, why am I looking for this? What do I actually need? Being conscious around what we're putting into our body, being food, relationships, different energy from people around us. Are we in a good environment? Okay, going for a walk in nature. If possible, take your shoes off. Feel the grass between your feet. Just get out there and get some fresh air. 15 minutes is just enough to get you out there. And what else could you do for 15 minutes? Scroll social media, put the phone down, okay? Meditate. 15 minutes again. You can have that on an app, a YouTube channel. If you don't know how, just sit there quietly. Yes, if you've never done it before, you're going to think about all the things, but consciously think, okay, I don't need to think about that. You can talk to yourself in your head. So spend 15 minutes, set a timer. If that's all you have and you know it's a short amount of time, even if it's at work, go into the staff room and sit there quietly if no one's in there, or find a space that you can sit in your office or something, 15 minutes. What I suggest to people is they find 45 minutes a day and they can break it up. 15 minutes is usually a bite-sized chunk. Breath work. Okay, very woo-woo when people talk about breath work, but let's be honest, you breathe all day long. Just be conscious about it, okay? How am I breathing? Make sure that I'm getting a deep breath. Breathe right into your stomach. Breathe out slowly. Just be conscious. So I'm not suggesting that we do anything very far out. We're already breathing. Just be conscious about how we're breathing. Just finding something different to eat. Make it an adventure, okay? So we kind of get in this trap, especially when we're time poor, which is the time poor people are the ones you need to watch for burnout, because, if you're time poor, then you're definitely not looking after yourself. So change where you're eating. Yes, I know we need to have some convenience foods, but really look at what it is you're putting into your body. Prepare something the night before. Keep some of your leftover dinner. Do something that is work smarter, not harder. I'm not suggesting you meal prep on a Sunday for the entire week. Who actually wants to do that? You feel more exhausted, let's be honest, okay? If I've been there, I've done that. It's not always the greatest option. But each day you are making dinner, so maybe just make an extra serve. And then that way, guaranteed at work the next day, you're going to have at least one thing that is good for you. Try switching coffee for teas. There are a plethora of teas out there. A really great tea, if you are a coffee addict like I was, is dandelion tea. I know even sounds more woo-woo than anything, but it tastes like coffee and it's really good for you. It's a cleansing. You don't feel deprived. And let's be honest, we don't want to be deprived. If we're time poor, we're not sleeping. What, you're telling me I can't have coffee? No, you can, but maybe just switch out a couple, because coffee is going to get you a little bit more stimulated. It's going to make it harder for you to sleep. And we've gone back to the beginning again, where we really, really need to be encouraging people to sleep well. There's a heap of things you can do. Listen to music. Make a little playlist on your phone, on Spotify or wherever, and just listen to that. If you know you're starting to drift off into some space you're not happy with, bring yourself back. Do something social, but maybe not too much. Maybe it's just, a coffee with someone, a cup of tea with somebody, having a chat with someone you care about. Read a book, 5 pages. Just set yourself a timer if that's all you can read. But just start doing things for yourself. And the most important thing is get some sleep and give each other permission to rest. I think that's something really important, actually. There's a lot of deadlines we have to keep. If we know it's okay to have a rest and we don't feel guilty about that, we're going to start that healing process as well. It's okay to say I need help. It's 100% okay to rest. And that doing things for yourself is not selfish. And women in particular, I'm speaking to you, it's okay. Do not feel guilty for doing something for yourself, because a happy woman is a better wife, is a better mother, is a better staff person, is a better business owner. When you're actually happy and caring for yourself, it flows from there. You do change one part of the system, you change the whole system. And let's be honest, when the mum is happy in the house is happy. When the mum is stressed, the house is stressed. And I know not every woman is a mother, but let's be honest, it is mums who are really facing this burnout, because I need to get my child to dance lessons. I need to get them to a piano lesson. Oh my goodness, they need a tutor. Oh, I need to do this homework with them. I need to cook dinner. I need to do the groceries. I need to be an excellent staff member. I need to be the best wife in the world. My biggest takeaway for everyone is, please don't feel guilty for looking after yourself. It's totally okay. In fact, it's necessary so you can look after others. If you are in a position of burnout yourself, please recognize you're not in a position to help the other person. It's like oxygen on the airplane, right? You can't pour from an empty cup, so you're not in a position to help. But you are in a position to be able to help direct them into a place of help. So let's talk about the things that we're doing for ourselves. Hey, I noticed that you're not coping as well. Or they come to you and say, I'm really tired. That's interesting. So do I. Talk about it. Talk about your own experiences. Yes, when I was struggling with sleep, this is what I did. I went and had a yoga class. Maybe you don't have time to leave your house. There's plenty of things you can do online. YouTube, apps, Google, whatever. Find something, a meditation. We started that in COVID for our children. We just pulled a meditation out on our phones and played it for them. And it's so surprising what a difference that makes. It doesn't cost anything. And it's not even extra time out of the house, because I know that becomes quite a struggle for women. Oh, how will I find the time to do all these things? Find 45 minutes for yourself in the day. Is that 45 minutes going to bed earlier? Is it 45 minutes getting up earlier? Is it saying, no, I'm not going to watch that television program for 45 minutes. I'm going to go and do some breath work that I'm following on some app. Am I going to do a meditation? There's amazing hypnotherapies that you can listen to. So if you're noticing it in others, maybe direct them to something that you have tried yourself. People are great storytellers. If you haven't tried it yourself, say, hey, I heard this person talking about how they also experienced burnout, and they recognize the signs when they stopped sleeping properly. They weren't getting hungry. They were having brain fog. Whatever it is that you can notice that they're experiencing, use a story to guide that person towards maybe reaching out for help or doing something for themselves. So when I've seen it in others, and I've seen it quite a lot, I just reach out and I share my story. I share my experience and I offer to listen. Sometimes opening the doorways to a conversation and having people just get it out of them, because once you start talking about it, you'll start finding solutions for yourself that work. Because if you're not talking about it, you're in denial. It's not happening to me. It's not real. I can cope. I just need to get through this week. I just need to get through this month. I just need to do this. I've got this thing coming up. I remember saying to my husband when I was in the weeds, I just need to get to January. Now, this was November 11. I just need to get to January because I had 4 weeks off. And my husband, who does not stress about anything, he's the most pragmatic person ever. His response was, Katie, how will you get through today? And it was his question that made me realize, you're right, I actually can't. And he must have been watching me for a while spiral into this place. But his question just triggered my thoughts of, it almost gave me permission to say, I can't. I had a conversation with a client yesterday, actually. This is quite interesting and quite pertinent. We talk about being the average sum of the 5 people that we spend time with. So I had her write down the feelings she gets from 5 of the people she works with. And the feelings that she wrote were not great. And I asked, is that how you want to feel? And the answer was no. So we then looked at, how do you want to feel? How do you want to be around? Who do you want to be around? And sadly, as much as you think that you have to be in the job that you're in, you don't. To quote one of my old bosses, there's no prisoners. So if you are in an environment where the 5 energy sources that are coming around you that are giving you these horrible feelings, they're not how you want to be, it's time to leave. That's hard, but your health is really more important than staying in a job. There are plenty of jobs out there. Might not be the first one you take, might not be what you want to do, but you have choices, and recognizing you have choices. You do not have to stay here, or speak to your leaders and say, this is the 5 feelings I have. What can we do to change it? Be part of the solution. Maybe the leaders aren't recognizing it. Maybe they're not seeing it. Maybe they're so busy in the KPIs that they're not looking at what's happening down below. Because I guarantee you, if you invest in your people, they will invest in your business, and that is where you'll see the best results. People won't want to leave you, and they will do the best that they can. They'll be productive. They'll make better decisions, and everyone will be happier. And on happiness, one of the best things you can do to create an excellent environment and work on burnout is laugh. Have laughter. Who doesn't feel 1,000,000% when you've had a good laugh? So encourage that. Encourage that in your workspace and amongst your friends. By having people like myself come into your industry and really focus on that well-being piece and educate people in what's actually happening to them. So to talk about what's happening to your nervous system, understand what's happening inside your body, how important every single little thing we were taught as a child, eat well, sleep well, play, all of those things are so important, and we dismiss them as just, we should all know how to do these things. Encouraging that workplace wellness. And I don't just mean having someone come in with sound bowls and chimes. That's not what I mean. I mean, let's educate our staff and our people on how to eat well, how to prioritize their sleep, rest, their family time. Make it okay for people to say, hey, I need to be here for my son, my daughter, my husband, myself. Make it okay to have that. We worked it out during COVID, didn't we? We could work from home. We could do these things, and people were still productive. So let's integrate that into our world now. Let's integrate that time management. And I don't just mean the to-do list. Hey, Katie, what have you got on for your emotional well-being this week? What are you doing for your health? Encouraging people to do exercise. Talk about it in your meetings that you set up for the week. It's not just about KPIs. It's about what are we doing to care for ourselves and our people for the week, and make that part of our everyday conversation. I think that could change the narrative of people feeling safe enough to say, hey, I need some help. Your staff are in charge of your business. They're making decisions for your business. It's like upgrading your computer system. You're not going to allow an out-of-date piece of machinery to operate, this business of yours. You're not going to allow the out-of-date thinking and processes of humans without caring for their well-being. And I feel like it's mandatory. You must look after the people that are making the decisions for your business if you want it to grow. So if you invest in your people, they will invest in your vision and your business, and people will do meaningful work that benefits themselves and your business. The empathetic leadership and the workplace wellness really go hand in glove. And as I explained earlier, people get promoted in business and they find themselves in these leadership roles or positions of authority. And it's because they were good at their job. It doesn't necessarily mean that they were good at people. So the empathetic leadership piece is something that we really, you can't teach someone to have empathy, but you can educate them in how to manage empathy. And we need to understand where people are coming from, What makes them tick? What's their currency? Prioritize wherever your currency is. And if your leader can be involved in that with you, can allow space for you to have that time, and can really understand you, that's where I think that empathy piece comes from. Not everyone has empathy, but you can understand, or you can listen and have it explained to you, and then invest in returning that. That's where I think people are going to stick with their employer. They're going to feel better. They're going to have happier households, better lives, really. We spend a lot of time at work. That's why I talk back to work. We spend a lot of time there. Probably more waking hours with our colleagues and our employer than we do with the people who mean the most to us. So when we get to spend time with the people who mean the most to us, we want to be our best. We don't want to be cranky. We don't want to be frustrated. We certainly don't want to be rushing. You don't want to be thinking about, oh, I didn't do this thing. I didn't do that thing. I need to be doing this. We're all very guilty of living in the future. I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to do this. We need to allow ourselves permission to not do that.